farmingtonmuseum.org.
San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910.
Four Corners Musical Theater Company presents Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street at the Farmington Civic Center, October 20th through the 30th. Halloween thrills and a haunting musical story that follows Sweeney Todd, a barber in historic London bent on bloody revenge after being framed. Vengeance has never tasted so good. Tickets at fmtn.org/shows or at the Farmington Civic Center box office. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Twelve minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 20th day of October, 2022. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County. We're over the air at 103.3 FM in Durango, Colorado. And, of course, everywhere else. You can tune us in by going to our website and streaming us live at ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. The program is streaming out live this morning to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. So we're glad that you are here as well, everybody, because coming up, my guest this morning from the San Juan County Partnership and our focus today, their efforts to help prevent polysubstance abuse in the community. And we'll learn more about that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Next hour, Mick Hess will take us roving with the arts. It is our classical music program, and Mick is featuring music from Mozart this morning. That's coming up after the news at 9:06 on KSJE, followed at 9:30 by our Native Art Voices program, Native Art Voices of the Four Corners. Vanaya Yazi will be here at 9:30, and her guest this month is mural artist Luke Paul. We'll hear from him coming up today, 9:30 on KSJE. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on our Instagram page in addition to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And if you're a podcast person, this program very quickly will become a podcast as well. You can subscribe to KSJE Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and maybe discover a new program that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is 42 degrees at the moment. We are expecting a mostly sunny day today with a high of 71, clear skies overnight with a low of 38, 70 tomorrow, 70 on Saturday, but maybe a chance of showers developing on Saturday night on into Sunday. Take a look. Much cooler weather on Sunday with a chance of showers and a high of only 52 degrees, 32 overnight Sunday, and then 51 with partly sunny skies on Monday and maybe mid-50s for high temperatures next week. Well, let me introduce my guests who are here with me this morning, as I mentioned, from the San Juan County Partnership. Amanda Evans is back with us from the Partnership this morning. Good morning and welcome back to KSJE.
Good morning. It's nice to be back.
Good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Also joining us this morning is our other guest, Deanna Comanche is here. Good morning to you, and thank you for coming in this morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned, we're talking about polysubstance abuse. And Deanna, I know you're working with a grant that's all about that. And Amanda, maybe you can help us kind of set the stage a little bit about what we are talking about. This is kind of addictions to more than one thing, I would think, right?
Well, it's not just addictions, because you said polysubstance abuse, but polysubstance issues can come up even if you're taking prescription drugs that your doctor's prescribed correctly, and then maybe you're using alcohol at the same time, but you're using it responsibly, but mixing the two is when you can have a problem. Uh-huh. So sometimes it is someone using illegal substances or mixing drugs on purpose, but sometimes it can also just be accidental. You don't understand that two substances can interact with each other.
Got you. Interesting. And I guess that then can maybe open up a whole other set of problems for folks too, if they're not thinking that they're abusing these substances, but maybe by combining them they can be, and they can become addicted and what have you, right?
Right, and that can lead to an overdose really quickly because these, especially, if you're mixing alcohol with a really strong pain medicine, or you're mixing two different substances that are, have have a really harmful effect on your body, you can then go into an overdose and, lose your life if you don't have the right help.
Right. Very true. Very true. Well, Deanna, let me turn to you a little bit about the grant that you are working with and some of the things that provides for. What's some of the work that you are doing with this grant, with the partnership?
As of right now, it's harm reduction of education and getting resources out there to the community, as well to their families about how prevent an overdose when using alcohol or prescription medications, or mixing mixed medications with different other medications.
Right.
So it was just just getting Narcan known in the San Juan County to providers to help with families.
And Narcan, pardon me for interrupting you, but I just want to talk a little bit about what that is and how useful it can be. Tell me a little bit more about Narcan. It's a really important drug, I guess, right, or treatment for potential abuse, correct, Amanda? I know you've told me this before, and I've forgotten.
So it counteracts a opioid overdose. So it's not good in all overdose cases, but if you have specifically taken an opioid, it can counter-effect those, and it can bring you back. So the one thing is, it's not, I always like to point this out, is it's not harmful if you haven't taken an opioid. So if you think someone's having an overdose and you don't know what they've taken, completely safe to use Narcan on them. It just won't help them.
Right.
But, even a healthy person could take Narcan. A kid could get a hold of it and use it, accidentally spray it because it's a nose spray, and nothing's going to happen. And it does work on fentanyl, which is a big issue that we're coming up in our county right now. So it does sometimes take more than one dose to reverse a fentanyl overdose. So Narcan is one of these things that everybody should have in their medicine cabinet. There's no downfall to having it.
Right. And that's, I think, a really important thing to remind us about, that it can't do any harm, really. But it can certainly save a life, even in some cases, right? If with an overdose treatment.
Yes,
with the Narcan.
It can definitely. If someone has had a prescription opioid, even if they've taken other drugs with it, that can help bring them back. We do always want to say you always want to call 911, because just because they came back doesn't mean they can't go back into overdose. And also there are going to be some different things they're going to be dealing with because of the overdose that they still need immediate help.
Right. Very good point. And so, as you suggest, everyone should have Narcan in our medicine cabinets. Where is it available? How do we get it if we want to add that to our medicine cabinets?
So the easiest place is you can go to any pharmacy. It is prescription based, so you have to go to a pharmacy behind the counter type thing and talk with your pharmacist, but they are able to prescribe it. So you don't have to. Yes. So you can get a prescription from your doctor, and if you have an opioid prescription, they should be giving it to you anyway, along with your prescription. But if you don't, or you have a family member and you want to have it on hand, you can go to the pharmacy and just ask for it. Some insurance cover it, some don't, or some might have a copay for it. So that kind of may affect how much you'll pay for it. But it's really easy to get it.
Right. And I guess, not to be morbid here, but if you don't have that and someone is suffering from an overdose, then you've got to call 911, obviously, and hopefully they get there in time. It's really a time-sensitive treatment, isn't it?
Yes. There's only, depending on the type of overdose and all different parameters on timing, but, that's the first step they're probably going to try to do too when emergency personnel gets there, because they all carry Narcan as well. So they're going to use that to try to reverse it first. And so there's really... That's why we say it should be just an item you keep in your medicine cabinet. If you know anyone who even responsibly, if you have a grandmother who's on an opioid pain medicine, somebody might get confused, accidentally take more than they should. This is not just about people who abuse it. Anybody who knows somebody should have it in their medicine cabinet.
Right. Really important. And what are you finding in the community? Are more people hearing what you're saying and maybe having that available and talking to their maybe employees and other folks about the importance of having this available, and also just about the dangers of the potential overdoses of these opioids?
So on our community survey that we did the last couple of years, we've seen about 20% of people who have an opioid prescription or know someone who has Narcan, which is way too low for what we'd like it to be. But Deanna's been doing a great job because she is one of the trainers for Narcan use for organizations. So she can go into an organization and train employees and provide Narcan for those agencies to have on hand. So if you have clients coming in, you might not even know they're on an opioid in some cases, but something might happen while they're in your office. So that's one avenue to getting more Narcan into the community. And we're also doing education. So I keep saying we keep saying Narcan because that's what it's most commonly known by. But we have some billboards and things up, and they all say naloxone. So you can hear it under both names because naloxone is the generic name for it.
Okay.
And Narcan is the brand name. So
Both do the same thing.
Yes.
Exact same thing. It's kind of like Zyrtec, and Zyrtec is the name brand for the medicine that you're using. So
Right.
naloxone is the medicine, Narcan is the brand name. So we can't, when we do, publish things or put it in writing, we're not using the brand name because we don't have that kind of copyright. So
Sure.
we use naloxone. So if you hear naloxone, it means the same thing as Narcan.
Good to know. Very important. And so, Deanna, let me come back to you a little bit and ask you a bit about this training that you do for businesses and organizations in the community. How long of a training is it? I imagine it's maybe just a little bit of time that a company would need to set aside for your message.
Yes, what they usually, they give us a call, we set up an appointment with Anna and I. We usually go to the organization. So it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the size of the class. If we have to do another set of training in the afternoon, then we'll go ahead and combine those two. 15's our top for each training.
Each group?
Yes, each group.
Okay.
And from there, we do hand out Narcan to them after the training, and also their certificate.
Gotcha. And are these free trainings if folks call and ask for them?
Yes, they're free trainings. I can go to Shiprocks or just in San Juan County.
Right. That's a lot of places, though.
Yes.
And as Amanda was saying, if there's only about a 20% amount of people that have Narcan available, that means there's 80% that don't. If the math is correct on it's still early, but I think I got that one right.
Yes.
That's still a lot of folks to get the word out to, right?
Yes. As well, with families, we get a lot about in the training with the individuals about, okay, how can we get it for families? They can also become a trainer in their own facility as well, of giving them that resource and the connection with the DOH as well. DOH, Department of Health, here in Farmington, they do Narcan training for families. You can go there Monday through Friday? Monday through Friday from like 1 to 4.
Okay.
And she can set some time aside.
Okay. And you can check on that and see how that can work for individuals as well and make an appointment to do that, I guess, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like a train the trainer kind of a thing.
Yes.
Okay, very, very good. And we were talking before we came on the air a little bit about the Good Samaritan Law, which I think also maybe comes into play sometimes in some of these situations, right? In that people are somewhat protected legally by offering aid to someone who is in distress or having a problem or things along that line. Isn't that what that law kind of talks about, Amanda?
Yes. It means that you're not, so if you have drugs on the premises and someone overdoses and you call 911 and law enforcement shows up, you're not going to be arrested for like drug charges or anything like that, because it's more important to get that person who's overdosing help than it is to arrest someone. Our law enforcement is really, they want to save lives. It's not about the consequences always. They'd prefer you call than to worry about getting in trouble.
Got you. And I thought, too, there's a part of, even providing aid, right, to the person who's having the problem, whether they're injured or they're having a reaction or an overdose or whatever. If I'm helping them with Narcan or what have you, and something else is happening, too, I'm still not going to be necessarily liable or punished or anything for trying to help this person in their moment of distress.
Right. So you provide Narcan, you do 2 even if you think it's a fentanyl overdose, and the person still doesn't survive. Yes, you're not going to be held liable if that doesn't save them, or if it does save them and there's some issues
Some
later
side
on.
effect or something
right
else. Sure.
So yeah, that's really to protect the person calling from both law enforcement and from maybe a civil something. So
Right, and that's, I think, an important thing for folks to remember, and that's pretty much nationwide, I think, too. I know many states have these types of laws on the books.
yes.
And so
yes.
that's an important thing to remember. My guests this morning are from the San Juan County Partnership. We are talking about polysubstance abuse and some of the issues and prevention efforts that they are making in our community and getting the word out about this issue. And there are some statistics to talk about, too, a little bit. Deanna, I know you brought maybe some with you. Can you share a little bit about what you found and how big of a problem this is?
Yes. So in the overdose rates in San Juan County in 2020, there were about 37 drug overdose across San Juan County. Let's see, from 2018 to 2020, there was an increase about 18.2% to 32.4% death rates in 2020. So that's a high increase. So by gender in 2020, the rate of drug overdose death were high among males compared to females. Let's see.
And you've got a lot of
Yeah.
stats there to
Yes.
look through, but it's on the way up. It's going in the wrong direction. These overdoses,
Yes.
according to these statistics, and so that's an important thing to note. And so the partnership is working to get the word out about these increases, and also trying to just educate folks about what can be done and how they can get help. Is that the idea, Amanda?
That is. So as she said, we've seen a big increase. We saw our last kind of statistics come from 2020, just because, there's been a lot going on since then. And
Right.
the state's kind of behind on some of that calculations and all of that. So, in 2020 for San Juan County, at least, was really before fentanyl hit. And that has increased our overdoses quite a bit. And so, I don't have specific statistics from the last year or so, but I do know we've spent a lot of time talking with law enforcement. San Juan County Sheriff's Office, Farmington PD are all really concerned about what they're seeing around fentanyl and how much is out in our community and how dangerous it really is. And so we are really trying to get the word out. We've done some educational events online around fentanyl. Again, Narcan, there's some kind of people don't always know that fentanyl can be reversed from Narcan, because it does take 1 to 2, maybe even 3 doses versus, a regular opioid may be able to come back after 1. So it's really about getting the word out and educating people. We saw there's some news coming out from other states about people putting color dye in fentanyl and making it look more attractive to kids, which is another scary thing. So people, Department of Health can also offer through some of their programs fentanyl testing strips. So if you're someone who does have a habit with prescription drugs and want to make sure that what you're buying or what you're getting doesn't have fentanyl in it, that's kind of where harm reduction comes in. So ideally, we would love to be able to get everyone in treatment and get everyone off of some of these pills and different things, but we also, the biggest thing is we want to give them time to get to treatment, which is keeping them alive in the process.
Right, and that's really important. And so with these grants like Deanna is working under and other things that the partnership is applying for and things along that line, this provides funding and support, I guess, to do the work that we're describing this morning? Is that kind of the idea?
Yes. And what's great about, so our grants, we have multiple grants working on different aspects of substance use and prevention. So like Deanna and the one we're working on currently with this project is Partnerships for Success 20, and it's focused on adult use, because we see most overdoses are, 35 to 44 is actually the highest age range to risk for an overdose. And so each of our grants is kind of tailored to different age groups. So we have another one that's geared toward alcohol and cannabis use for minors. We have one that's geared towards, overall prescription drug use, safe storage. So all of these offer different things to the community. So one of our grants, we can do free lock boxes to store your prescription drugs in. Through this one, we can offer the Narcan trainings. Through one of our youth ones, we have programs that can go into the schools. So all these kind of tailor together and give us options for a wide range of initiatives.
Right, which is great, and that means that hopefully most people in the community will hear something about this message too, no matter where they are or where their kids are or whatever they're involved with.
Yeah, we're really trying to spread it out. My piece on this grant is really the social media and the media pieces. So we do, like I said, we have billboards up around the county. We have social media going on. We have ads on iHeart and KOB that you might be seeing on your television or just digitally. We have different programs that are trying to reach, posters in the schools is one thing we're going to try to work on this fall. So it's all these different avenues. We want to try to hit different age groups, different demographics, and try to get that message to all of them.
Right. Very good. Deanna, let me come back to you a little bit and ask you, we talked a bit too about stigma associated with what we're talking about this morning, and that can be difficult for some people to get over and then reach out to maybe get the help that they need because they feel that there's a stigma surrounding an addiction or reliance on some of these medications or what have you. What do you find in your work?
Right now, there's like 20% responded strongly. They agree that those who use drugs, alcohol, experience stigma because of their substance abuse. And so it's not just judging by what you see. They do want to get help, or there's that piece of it, the trauma, the past. How could they be able to address all those needs, and as well as, okay, what can I do to move forward from this? So they just by, a lot of, like 25% endorse the idea that medical treatment can help with overdose use disorder.
Right. Very good. And Amanda, can family and friends maybe help with this idea of stigma that, to encourage folks maybe to reach out and get help, even if they feel that they are kind of judged negatively because of this problem or this alleged problem they may have?
Yeah, we have a real issue, countrywide with stigma around mental health issues and substance use, and that's one of the things we really want to address is especially with opioids, we have found that there's not a typical person. There's some drugs you see high, one race is higher, one age group is higher, but overall prescription drugs can hit anyone from youth to, someone 65, and so there's no look to it, and that's part of what is you think what it looks like or what it doesn't, and so just reaching out, looking for those signs. We offer some handouts that you can look for signs in family members that might show up as warning things that you could talk to them about, and then making it easy for them, say, I'll go with you, I'll help you get the help you need, and making them not feel guilty for it. And it's just making them allowed to get the help they need without any negative of consequences to it.
Right. Very good. Deanna, I want to come back to you. I'm bouncing back and forth, but I want to come back to you and talk a little bit about what's next in your work that you are doing. I think we talked a little bit about maybe reaching out to the schools and, again, trying to get the word out, but what is next? What do you see yourself doing with this grant, with this message over the next few months?
The next few months is getting Provider's Guide updated, getting that out to the community, the local resources. I'm really pushing towards the Narcan of getting the most providers here in Farmington or San Juan County to get that Narcan training to help them get, make that connection as well. Updating the medical assistant treatment list as well with providers and see if what are they doing to educate their patients or families regarding the opiates or medications they're prescribing.
Okay, very, very good. Well, good luck with all of that. That seems like a lot of stuff on your plate to get the word out about that. And Amanda Evans, from the partnership standpoint, this work continues, I would imagine, of trying to get the word out and building on what Deanna's talking about.
Yeah, we've always got something going on. We'll be at a lot of the health fairs now that we're back in person with stuff, so we can, we have Doterra bags, which are things it's like a little bag with some different chemicals in it, and you can put your prescription drugs in there and put some water, and it's a safe way to throw them away if you can't get to one of the disposal locations here in the county. We're always out giving, information, different places. We're working with the schools to get teachers trained, and then even, there's a stigma about training youth, but you might have a youth that's living with their 65-year-old grandmother who takes prescription opioids, and so there's really everybody should know how to use Narcan, and so that's just continuing constantly for us to try to educate people on.
Right, and why it's important to do that as well.
Yes.
So very, very good. We have a few more minutes remaining this morning. I want to just bounce back to the fentanyl problem that you were talking about, and that we're hearing more and more about from law enforcement. And so this has not been maybe a major issue until the last few years, I would say, is what you were mentioning too. And so what are we seeing? Is this mostly an issue with adults or with kids or all the above? What are you hearing from law enforcement?
We were kind of late with fentanyl. A lot of the other counties in New Mexico and a lot of the other states were seeing this several years ago, but it's just been the last, year to 2 years that we've really seen an increase here. We're definitely seeing it with adults. Again, overdoses tend to happen more with a middle-aged to older crowd, but it's always a danger for our youth because they don't always know what they're getting. Fentanyl is cheaper, so it will be cut with other drugs. It can be in something they don't even know about. They might think they're just taking a regular something. I have an 8th grader who I was just talking to, don't ever take anything you don't know what is if it's not given to you by an adult. And so it's really that education piece around know what you're taking and make sure it's what you think it is. And so it's really a problem across the board that we want education on. So it's not that we're seeing it in one population or another. The problem is if you get fentanyl, it can be lethal really quickly with a really small amount. So we want everyone to be educated on it.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing that I think we are hearing about is that this can be really dangerous. And I guess maybe there's different types of it, or maybe if you get a bad dose, that can be bad in more ways than one. And so it really can cause a lot of problems very, very quickly, I guess is the other part of this too. And so, which is why this Narcan is so important, because if someone's having an overdose and having a problem, and maybe you can't wait until the ambulance and the EMS folks get there. And that's why it's important to get this Narcan out around in the community and train folks on how to use it.
Yeah, fentanyl is much stronger, and I'm by no way a pharmacist or understand all the chemical aspects of it, but what we do know is that it will hit you much faster and much harder than just, if you're taking something prescription. And so it can be much more dangerous, much quicker. Got you.
And of course, the Narcan can help to reverse some of those effects, and hopefully until other help arrives, can maybe save some time as well, or gain some time, earn some time for these people that are suffering from some of these interactions. So, yes. Very good. Well, thank you both for coming in this morning. I really appreciate it very much. Deanna Comanche, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Amanda Evans, thank you for coming in as well. Always great to have you here as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to be here.
Thank you very much. My guest this morning from the San Juan County Partnership with me on KSJE. KSJE and San Juan College present the Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week. Week 9, it's all about study. Knowing how to read a textbook, take notes in class, and use the library are all areas that will help you be more successful in the classroom. Setting up specific times in a day or during the week to study primes your brain by creating a routine, and over time, studying actually becomes easier as your brain is trained to learn in these moments. Research shows that having a designated spot for study that is well equipped with every tool you might need is best, as this too primes your brain for studying. Occasionally, college professors will tell you the information that will or won't be on an exam. Listen to them. They're sharing this information with you to save you time so you're not studying the wrong information for hours, and you can focus on the important points. If you're unsure about what to focus on while studying, send your professor a quick email to confirm or speak with him or her after class.
The Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week, presented by KSJE and the Student Achievement Center at San Juan College. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Museum. What if you could jump into the world of wild kratts and swing through the trees like a monkey, or hunt like a dragonfish? Now you can. Wild Kratts, Creature Power, and Ocean Adventure Museum Exhibit, opening September 24th through January 7th at the Farmington Museum. Tickets at farmingtonmuseum.org. KSJE is supported by Aztec Motocross. Located on Highway 173, Aztec Motocross offers a safe and competitive racing environment for the growing off-road and outdoor industry. Upcoming racing weekends, September 24th and 25th, and October 22nd and 23rd. Also, the New Mexico State Championship Motocross Race Series, October 8th and 9th. Find out more online at aztecmotocross.com or 505-393-5222.